Hey guys, Bob here. Today we're going to go through a real quick tutorial on how to import a workshop ship for use on the DX Expanse server, Draconis Expanse server. So first, let's talk about what ship. I was looking at this Trailblazer 700R, which was just sort of top of the line on the workshop today. It's not necessarily a very expansive ship, but it makes for a good example. And we've got some blocks that you can see just right from the outset aren't going to come over, so we'll discuss those very briefly. But first, you're going to want to use this Sigma Expanse Creative World. This is Drew 720's world. You can find it by going to his workshop, and I did check to make sure that this was uh, publicly published, like not a private share world, before including it in this video. It may be slightly out of date. It may need the Epstein stabilizers. The server settings are not going to be present. It's not going to be a one-to-one experience to being on the server, but it will let you build a ship and prepare one for print or creation inside the server itself. So make sure you're subscribed to that. Like I said, you may want to add the Epstein stabilizers. The mod list is there. You may want to add all those mods manually so you're downloading them, etc. The other mod that I'm going to show you today is this transparent ships mod. It's very simple. You transparent 1 to turn it off, transparent 2 or transparent 0, transparent 1 to turn it on, transparent 0 to turn it off. Hasn't been updated in a moon, but works great. So let's get started. Over here in my Space Engineers game, I've got my server running. I'm going to import this Trailblazer. I'm going to use the workshop one. You can tell it's got that workshop icon on it. I have played with the ship just a little bit before, so some idea of what's coming. All right, we're going to paste it. First thing we're going to notice is we get an error when the blocks it doesn't like won't come over. So you'll see that pop up. It'll say, hey, this is going to paste in blocks that aren't supported by this game file. Are you sure? Blah, blah, blah. Say yes. Then we can come through here and manually remove the blocks we know we don't want. These chemical thrusters came over, and we see if I point it with the welder, large chemical combustion thruster. That's a valid block in the game, but it's not an efficient block in the game, so we want to get rid of that. And before we do, just real quick, I'm going to turn on mirroring, because I think for the most part, that's going to be useful. Let us edit both sides at once. So killing those, right? Here on the underside, we've got a bunch of them. We don't want those either. All these big ones gone. We'll leave the little ones because those will be useful to us here in a second. You can see this flame out action that we've got going on. That is because of the ion engines. Ion engines are not allowed. I don't know why I didn't burn out the large ones, but these are all on fire because there are no ion engines on the server. Every server in the Expanse server, or sorry, every thruster in the Expanse server needs to have hydrogen. So we're cleaning these up real quick. Kind of get the idea there, but I do want to go through and kill as many of these as we can because the ship on fire just bothers me to death. You see, we're leaving behind some space. Part of what we're doing right now is going to have to get cleaned up. See, these gyros are now floating free. That's not a good thing, and we may want to replace them if we find that the ship needs them. There's nothing super clean about this process, but, you know, it is what it is. You can start over completely and build your ship from scratch if you want to. If you prefer starting from something rather than nothing, as I frequently do prefer, then this method's going to be for you. All right. So we've got the ship in here. We're going to now make a blueprint. I've done this once a minute ago, warming up. So you see now I've got an _1, but this has got a little home blueprint on it. Come over here a little bit and save. Always save your work. I'm going into my Space Engineers folder, which I've got pinned to my documents, but Space Engineers, Blueprints, Local, Trailblazer, this is the one I just made. This is the one I was messing with a little bit earlier. We come in here, we delete the BPSBCB5 file. We do that because this is the compiled version of the file. It has supremacy over the plain text version, but we can edit the plain text version and it will allow us to generate a new compiled one. So cleaning up just repeat what I did a moment ago. If we look for thrust and we do find all in current document, you see we've got some groups, that's fine. Those will come over and be fine. We've got these cube blocks, large block, small hydrogen thrust. Well, we know that that needs to be replaced. So I'm going to come over here and we're going to add that to our list. Those need to go. All right. Then we've got large block, small hydrogen thrust, industrial. All right, that's just a variant. So we want that gone too. Come back to our original file, do a Control F. We're looking for these industrial ones. There they are. All right. We can do a replace with this links RCS thruster 1. I know this value because you can put one of these blocks on your blueprint before you take it. And you go and find that block in your list, and lo and behold, that's what you're replacing it with. So we can just do a replace all on there. So we replace now 28 industrial thrusters with the ordinary thruster, the RCS. So now we're going to replace the non-industrial variant. Same thing, going back to our first file, replace all, 11 of those were on there. Well, they're now all RCS, or at least let's hope. We go back into our game. What was the name of the ship again? Trailblazer. Trailblazer, and we want the one that I just took, the underscore one. Takes a second because it's compiling that SBC5 file. But see, I didn't get an error. And I paste it in here. And for my first hack job, so to speak, I have nothing on fire. The majority of the blocks seem to have come over, and look at those. I've got RCS thrusters, and they're even painted the right color and oriented the right direction. Simple find and replace there, saving a bunch of time. Oh, we've got jump drives. We don't need drives. So I've got all this empty space, right? And most of this is here because I pulled stuff out. Oh, we got more jump drives. And more jump drives. Well, this thing is just made of jump drives, guys. As you know, Epstein stabilizers, but maybe we'll need power instead. I'm going to grind these out so that I don't screw up. I thought I was going to grind it out. Come here. Not going to grind it out. Well, I don't want to blow away the wrong block, as tends to happen. My right-click delete. But okay, I got it. Yeah, those are gone. Gravity generator, etc., etc. A nice looking ship otherwise. All right, those had to go. Now, the next thing that has to go are these refineries. Why? Because in the Expanse server, those have structural reinforcements. Those are intended to be used on a base. So no refineries for you. One could start to make the argument, well, why am I even doing this? And that's fair. But we still are going to wind up with this nice looking ship's shell. So those can go, gotta go. All right, industrial assembler. Oh, structural components. No bueno. Out it goes. Now, we've heard some clanging, right? Lost a bunch of parts and stuff. That's fine. We can clean that up with a simple cut and paste. This will take some iteration as you go through. But remember that transparency mod that I showed you? This is going to save you some time because we don't have to delete armor or make a bunch of copies of the ship or anything like that. Come over here and I can type transparent 1. Boom. I can see the internals of the ship. The armor's still there. It's just letting me see through it. So we got a store block there, got some medical, that's all decorative, that should be fine. The reactors are probably fine. I don't know why they're disco, but that's okay. We just go through and we look at all of these items in the ship and make sure that there's nothing in here that we don't want or can't have because the server rules are different. Hydrogen generators are probably a bad idea. Those kinds of things. So now we're at a pretty good baseline. We can make another blueprint. Then we need to now go back and say, okay, what do I do about thrust? I have no upward thrust at this point in time. So these holes need to be RCS'd somehow, right? Back here is where I probably need to put my Epstein drives, but you'll see we're using side connectors. Oh, that is a hydrogen generator. Boom. But anyway, we were using side connectors to hook up the large hydrogen thrusters. RCSs don't have hydrogen or side connectors. Sorry, RCSs, no, I meant Epstein drives. So on and so forth. So anyway, that's the transparent mod. And you just turn that off with transparent 0 to bring the armor back. So that's how you do it. Now you just iterate through the ship and work through. Now what if, for example, I did have to go in here and make some edits that required me to damage the ship? Well, we get rid of our old copy, but we reproduce the one we're working on. And let's say that I needed to edit the nose. Well, what I can do is come through here, delete the nose off of the ship, right? Just cut it plumb in two. I didn't cut, but you get the idea. Fix this nose, cut that nose off, paste it on, right? In Creative, you can do these kinds of things. Get serious with our deletes here. And now this is its own grid, and I can cut and paste that individually. You can do that if you're working on different ideas and those kinds of things, and then when you're ready to put it back, you just cut and paste it back on. Basic creative stuff, but sometimes it's required if you really can't get to the heart of what you're going after. But just keep taking blueprints. If I do Control B right now, you see I had an _1 a minute ago, now I've got an _2. I can iterate through the design. If I don't like where something wound up, I can back up. See, we lost these little things off the bottom here with one of my cut and pastes. I can put those back if I want to keep them, that kind of thing. Questions, comments, do the thing in the hoobity-doo below, and I'll see you around on the server. Thanks for watching this far, and good luck with your ship imports.